to the Dream 100 Show, the epicenter of influence, collaboration, and exponential growth. You're about to discover the power of relationships. Dream 100 relationships. And you're one relationship away from a totally different business and life. This is your host, Michael Tasner.
Hey there, and welcome to this week's edition of the Dream 100 Show. I've got a extremely exciting tactic that I want to present to you today. After testing this out the last couple of months, I can tell you that the results have been off the charts. So as you know, the traditional framework that I teach you with the Dream 100 is to pick one of three audiences: your Dream 100 clients or customers. Number two, your Dream 100 strategic alliances, referral partners, essentially businesses that already have your customers, clients in their database, frequenting their business. Or three, your Dream 100 media. Now, we tend to focus most of our energy and attention on Dream 100 referral partnerships. The reason that we tend to focus there is that it provides a lot more of a predictable source of new business. Now, while Dream 100 clients, customers are amazing to land, and they definitely can be tackled using the Dream 100 framework, if you're just starting out, I almost always say, let's find the strategic partners that can refer you steady customers on a regular basis. And the way that I teach it to you is I'll give you kind of the condensed version real rapidly in case this is the first episode that you're tuning in on. Hopefully it's not your first episode. But the way that I teach it is to really get serious about your brand, your why, your purpose. Make sure that all of your stuff, your personal stuff, your business stuff, all looks great online. Then from there, we make a list of the people that we're going to target. Keyword people. We're not targeting businesses. We're targeting people within those businesses. This is a 100% relationship play. And from there, you can take a couple of different twists and turns and climb this ladder, go down that ladder, go up here, over there. There's a lot of ways to kind of get to the end result. But the fastest that we have found is by commenting on their social media several times a week, if possible daily, with thoughtful, thought-out replies. And number two is actually starting and inviting them onto a podcast. So you get them onto your show, you deliver value to them, and you're kind of warming up that relationship quickly. The idea that I wanted to share with you today that we've tested out and proven that it works, everything that I give to you, everything that I teach will be proven to have worked across numerous niches and industries several times. So I'm not up here saying, well, I think you should go try advertising on X. I think it could work well for you. I don't like sharing anything that I have not tested unless I give you a disclaimer that this is what I'm currently testing. You can get in. This is what we're currently seeing. Don't have it totally proven out yet. But in this case, I do. So here's how the strategy works. In tandem with you commenting on the social media, and I'll add a niche to make this sound a little bit more real. So let's say that you are a florist and you're looking to obviously grow your business. And you've identified some Dream 100 customers, and those tend to be wedding planners, for example. That would be, to me, the most obvious. If they're doing the ordering, they would be a customer. But wedding planners could also be a Dream 100 referral partnership if they are referring certain places and allowing the bride and groom to go and actually pick out the flowers, for example, or pick out the actual vendor. They're going to pick out the flowers, but they might not necessarily want to pick out the vendor. So I could see that one on both sides. But I could also see funeral homes, churches, cemeteries, banquet halls, a lot of different places that could be Dream 100 referral relationships to your floral business. banquet halls that are hosting weddings on a regular basis. Hey, have you checked out Michael's Flowers? We have an exclusive deal with them. You get VIP treatment, et cetera, et cetera. Like, it could be game over if you had all the wedding venues referring to your particular business. So how do you do that? Well, you build relationships with those particular businesses. And you do it again by commenting on their social media. You can invite them onto a podcast. And in this case, maybe I have a podcast that I call Everything Weddings Buffalo, New York Weddings or something. And I want to interview all different businesses that are involved in the wedding industry and ask fun questions and tips and make it very helpful to the bride and groom and or family members that are looking at having a wedding in the Buffalo, New York area. So great. That's what I've taught the framework to be. And that framework still works extremely well. But here is the next layer that I want you to add on and consider. So what if at the end of that call, so you do the podcast and you have that sometimes awkward, sometimes really productive 30-second, 5-minute cut, whatever the timeline ends up being. You host the podcast. You say, God, it was so great having you as a guest. I learned so many amazing things. Thank you ever so much. And then you kind of pause. And that pause gives the person on the other side the opportunity to do one of a couple things. They might say, thank you, it was fun, and jump off. But usually they're going to stick around a little bit and say, yeah, it was fun. I appreciate you. I heard a little bit about your business, but tell me more. And you have that little opportunity to advance the relationship. Now, a lot of people mess up the Dream 100 framework right there, and they go in for the kill. Well, I said I was a florist. What are your thoughts on having a referral relationship? Now, I'm not saying don't go in for the kill on the call, but you've got to be able to feel out their energy. Like if it was an amazing call and they prompted and they're like, yeah, we should do some fun stuff together. Yeah, then I want you to go in for the kill and try and move that forward. Yeah, I would love to do that. How does your calendar look for later this week? Let's get on a quick call, discuss it, and move it forward. Or I can come out to your banquet hall. Let's have a conversation in person, whatever you need to do for that next step. But if it ends or it moves a little bit to where it's not 100% where they're, I guess, knowing what a next step is, here's how you pivot the conversation to something that is an easy yes. So I would love to have you join a little mini networking group, mastermind group that I've started recently. And it's all the different people that are in the Buffalo, New York area that are serving brides, grooms, and families that are doing things with weddings. We meet virtually once a month, and it's a combination of some networking together and essentially this whole concept of a rising boat lifts all ships. And then in addition, I do a training topic every month for usually 15 or 20 minutes just as a way to pay it forward. Can I send you an invite to be on that next event? And it's completely free of charge, so you don't have to, there's no cost to anything. I've never had anyone say no to that. Now, it doesn't mean that every single person then shows up to these events, but they want to be included. So how do you actually then put this together? Well, if you're doing it digitally, extremely, extremely easy. You need to have a little bit, though, of volume, so they're not showing up and they're the only person on the call. So what I normally have done when we were testing this out was that we got to the point where we had at least 10 different people that were in this group. And then we had typically a target number of between 20 and 40. Now, that doesn't mean, well, Michael, the 100, shouldn't we have 100 people? You could have 100 people like the Dream 100 framework. But I'm looking for you to move the needle, get this off the ground. You're not going to launch it with 100 people. Not everyone's going to be able to get on your podcast, say yes, etc. Now, they don't necessarily have to come on your podcast first. You could send them an email, phone call, text message, direct mail with a gift. You could send an invitation in the mail. We've tested that. That's worked extremely well. The secret sauce to this whole thing is that there's no cost. And you might say, well, how am I benefiting from all this time? I'm arranging it. I'm coordinating everything. Take a pause and think about that. If you now have once a month several people, dozens and dozens of people that are your Dream 100 partners, potential referral relationships, strategic alliances coming on a call that, number one, you own and control. You're the founder of this group. Number two, you are the authority. You are presenting a topic every single month. You start off the meeting giving value. Your name is front and center. You think that some of these people are going to then start to refer people to you? They're going to contact you and say, I'm grateful that you put this group together. It's a similar concept to a group called BNI. I think it's Business Networking International, but some variations. Number one, there's no fees. You don't charge anything. Number two, traditionally, it starts with being virtual, but we have also tested this with in-person. The attendance is a little bit lower, but the relationships are 2 to 3 times, if not more, stronger. You build relationship faster when you're in person. The downside to that, and it's not a huge downside because this is all about an investment, is that if you tell people you're not charging, you cannot charge. So you're traditionally going to host this at a restaurant or somewhere like that. You're typically not going to ask the banquet hall, hey, can we use your space? But that's an option in this particular example. But usually you're going to want to have some light food, whether it's breakfast or coffee or lunch or hors d'oeuvres or something that you are then taking care of each month. Now, what it continues to then do if you're doing that is that it starts to build up that whole law of reciprocity where it kind of gets a little bit awkward where you're going to these events every month, you're getting free food or free drinks or whatever, and you're not contributing some way to the host, which in this case would be me or you. So it starts to kind of weigh on people a little bit where those referral relationships do speed up. But think about that. What would the power be of you having an industry group of referral relationships, so these Dream 100 potential relationships that you host every month, where you bring people in, you get to give a presentation as little or as often as you would like because this is your group. And then the remainder of the time on that call or in person, you're doing some speed networking, you're doing breakout groups, you have some structure. It's not just a free-for-all because you want to make sure that anyone that's showing up, whether it's virtually or in person, they're getting value from it. So it's not just, great, I'm going to have a 10-minute talk and then you guys network. If you're going to do some networking, you want to facilitate the speed dating process, for example, and you want to have some questions and similar to what BNI is doing, going around the room and what type of relationships am I looking for? So you want to have some structure to it. But in every single instance that we've launched these mastermind groups, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it a networking group. You can call it a mastermind. You can come up with a fun name if you would like. Every one of these that we've launched has resulted in at least 2 Dream 100 strategic partnerships being had within 45 days of the group. It's happening very, very quickly, but it also gives you that next step on the podcast call where if they're not like, hey, can we refer some business to each other, you have another gift. So I'm going to take care of the podcast for you. We're going to get you quote cards. I'm going to edit everything. I'm going to give you a couple of weeks notice. Would love for you to promote it. We're going to promote it as well. But I want to throw something else to you. Would you be interested in joining our mastermind group? We meet virtually once a month. There's no cost. I take care of all that for you. You're going to learn some stuff every month, and we're all going to help each other grow each other's businesses. Would that be of interest? No one is saying no. No, I have all the business I want. They had all the business they wanted and needed, they wouldn't be doing your podcast. So completely free of charge, but it then continues to build and brand you as the authority, you as the expert, because this is your group that you own. I want you to start thinking about this concept, and I want you to start intermixing it into your processes. But in the next, let's call it 30 days, I want you to think about what's the group called, who are some of the people that you can invite, the structure that you want to have to this group to keep it lively and engaging so that it's a great use of time. And it doesn't have to be long. We're talking an hour to 90 minutes maximum. High impact, low amount of cost on your side and time put in, but it's just a high impact strategy. This just continues to amplify everything that we're doing with the Dream 100. Get out there, take some action, make more money. Michael Tasner signing off. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. I'll see you next week.